right, here we go again. I feel like I just did, what was it, Popeye's Revenge a little while ago. And now we got Popeye the Slayer, man. Didn't know, that he was going to be such a huge topic of taking advantage of public domain, whatever. But, thought we were going to stay with the Mickey and all that crew. But no, we have two Popeye movies now. So here we go. What's this one about? Let's see. IMDb plot time. A curious group of friends sneak into an abandoned spinach canning factory to investigate the legend of the Sailor Man, who is said to haunt the factory and local docks. All right. Haunting local docks and whatever. Yeah, factory. Okay, the Sailor Man, a factory. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. Like I just said, here we are again. Another one of these public domain movies. I think, since it's a new movie, I try not to spoil too many things. I don't know that I'm spoiling a whole lot. I guess there is a little bit of twist in here. But I think you guys, when you watch it, you'll kind of figure it out. It is not, hugely hard to figure out, but there is a little bit of a twist and turn there. But yeah, I don't want to do, I'll get into this one in a second, but I don't want to do, a comparison of, huge comparison of the two Popeye movies, whatever. I think if you did catch my review of Popeye's Revenge, I did kind of use that to, voice some concerns or some just, kind of annoyance here with the public domain kind of movies here and kind of talking about, it just being a marketing thing, an easy marketing thing, and, asking them to maybe do a little bit more with their stories and a little bit more, not, doesn't have to be a huge thing, but, maybe a little bit more in connection to the characters and not, while I appreciate blood and guts, you guys know that I do, not, just simply be blood and guts and whatever, to take advantage of the situation and take advantage of the character and to not just make it be like, well, this could be anybody else, but it just happens to be Mickey or Pooh or Popeye or whatever, but to kind of almost while you turn the character upside down, to still honor the character or to take advantage of their story and use it in a truly creative way instead of just throw it up there and have them kill a bunch of people. So while Popeye's Revenge probably was a lot of what I just complained about, I thought that at least this one at least tried to incorporate a little bit more of Popeye and who he was. And then I'll get into whether I really like this film at the end of the day or not. But while I think the other one was just, could have been any other killer there or whatever, he just happened to be Popeye. With a few things kind of relating to Popeye. This one at least tried to incorporate Popeye and who the character is a little bit better. At least kind of maybe echoed my thoughts there and at least gave it a try. I think the overall story wasn't anything crazy. Was very typical of maybe some other horror movies that we've seen, and a situation where you had a character that's killing and then why they're killing and so forth. The story, once everything happens, the story becomes very familiar, but I think at the end of the day what this one does, what the other one didn't, is kind of make you really feel that, okay, this had some relation to Popeye and the other one just didn't. So as far as this one here, I guess doing the whole thing of what you have is a bunch of young, I think they were college students, I think maybe, or late high school, I don't know. But they kind of want to do an investigation of the docks of this factory, because they've heard it's haunting. And I think, just that kind of like thing they didn't really do very smoothly, is like just to kind of pick up why this group of kids is going to go here and investigate. They tried, but I don't know, it just seemed very random. In fact, maybe, they didn't spend enough time, to build on the characters before jumping into that, which is fine because you don't want to waste time. You don't want to build up characters and whatever that, you're not really going to care about in a way. But, it just seemed like okay, here are the characters. Oh, okay, guys, we're gonna go to check out this factory, and it just seemed a little bit random. But anyway, on the little bit of flip side of that, you also get a little bit about the factory, and you see that there's a woman, I guess, who meets a guy there, and they're trying for a business deal to sell the factory and so forth. So you get a little inkling there of the factory and what's going on there and what's going to happen to it. And obviously in the opening you see Popeye kill a couple of people there, so you know that he's there, he's haunting it, and he's obviously not going to be happy with the selling of it. So that's going to play a little bit of a role in things as well. So I'm just kind of going through this as fast as I can. We're going to get the basics of, okay, eventually, we're going to learn, still a little bit about this group of young people here, whatever, and so forth. Eventually, they're going to go to the factory, and eventually they're going to run into Popeye, because that's what's going to happen here. And in the process, as things go on, they're going to learn something interesting about the factory. They're going to end up learning something about Popeye, a little bit more about him. And obviously, like I said, there's a little bit of twist and turn in there, which I don't think, I think becomes, a little bit obvious, as, we kind of end up there, and so forth. And then to me, there's this really annoying thing, I don't know that you're going to dive into too many of the characters, love too many of the characters. Some of them are there and you're just like, okay, they died and who cares? I don't think it ever does a huge job of giving you any reason to really root or care for too many of these characters, except for maybe one or two that obviously end up being the main ones. But still, at the end of the day, I never really gravitate or care, what is truly going to happen to them. There becomes a really annoying thing here where there's going to be one guy in particular who, his girlfriend, becomes part of this mission to go there in the factory, and he's like super jealous, and he thinks that one of the other guys is just bringing her along to eventually try to, hit on her, sleep with her, or whatever. He doesn't trust. And him and his two, guys who are trying to be like thug life or whatever, eventually talk him to like, no, let's go see what they're doing there. This doesn't make any sense. Kind of egg him on that something is happening there with this girl. So he goes there, and he becomes a huge disruption. Getting in the way of the whole story here, because every time he's on screen, just very angry and whatever, and him and his two buddies there and whatever. And I don't know, I just found him annoying, and he's obviously that character that you really want to die, and then when they die, you're like, oh, okay, fine, they're dead. But I don't know, he was just, too over the top, and just too, like, every time he was there, it's just like, come on, like, it's not necessary, whatever. But, we had to show a little bit of I guess, maybe domestic violence or, violence against women there, because he was kind of on the edge there and not being very nice to his girlfriend, and regardless. But for whatever reason, they had to stick that in there. I don't know, I thought he was much more annoying than anything else. Just really just didn't need it. Could have just done that kind of thing in a different way, and whatever, just introduced a few more characters to die for, a different way. I don't know, it's just extremely annoying. Anyway, like I said, we do get some kills, obviously, do get some blood and guts. I didn't think it went over the top to be anything, tremendously creative. Popeye seemed to like smashing heads and doing some stuff with head smashing, one way or the other. I wished, while I like the blood and guts and can appreciate that, and that's always fun. Maybe a little bit more variety, you didn't always have to be a head smash or something involving the head. Do something, else. He does use an anchor at one time, but again, it also involves the head. So, a little bit appreciating of the anchor, but again, the head and the head and the head, you're like, do something a little bit different, but, okay. But, as far as him, he has the big arms, you see. He's in his sailor outfit. He does have his pipe. They do make reference to, if you smell the smoke, he's there. He does actually talk and say a few things, you know, kind of, you know, what you would expect, you know, nothing huge, nothing whatever, but what you might expect him to say. So that kind of fit. I could appreciate them actually being in the spinach factory, having the spinach be a part of it, being, you know, a something that's involved in the film. You know, to kind of incorporate into Popeye, to be Popeye. So I think from that standpoint, I can give this film at least credit to actually, you know, giving us Popeye, giving us some things that we can relate to Popeye, and so forth. You know, as far as being a great, wonderful, you know, horror story or whatever, I think, you know, again, at the end of the day, you know, it seemed like something very similar, something that we've kind of seen before. And you know, the twist and turn, you know, like if you're awake, you'll kind of see it as well. So, you know, I would say overall better attempt than the other Popeye. Again, you know, a use of Popeye to get people to see the movie and market the movie and so forth. And then it's just, you know, it's just another horror movie at the end of the day. So I'm pretty sure I really went down on the other one as far as pools of blood, and we're way down the scale there. I'll give this one 2 pools of blood, to at least because they tried. They at least tried to give us something in the story. But overall, you're not going to get blown away by this one hugely. And they really leave it like if they're going to do another one, or there should be another one, or there's more to the story. And frankly, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Like I unless you're going to really dive into something more creative and whatever and so forth, or maybe this one surprisingly makes enough money to, you know, give them the chance to do something even bigger and grander and whatever in the second one. Like, you know, just leave it. You did the Popeye thing. You at least gave it a little bit more of a shot and of him and respect to him of a character that we're familiar with, and just leave it at that. So with this one, I'm giving it 2 pools of blood. But again, you know, if you kind of miss it or you're not really a big fan of Popeye, don't worry about it. It's okay. And that's 2 pools of blood out of 5. So with that, horrorscorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all my reviews, written and video. Certainly mostly video reviews for a while now, so you can like and subscribe and do everything else that everybody wants to do here on YouTube. If not, no worries, it is okay. I thank you for your time regardless. And Twitter, Facebook, information down below as well. Reach out to me there. Talk about horror, this movie, other movies, down in the comment section. You know, if you've seen both the Popeye movies, which one you like better. What are your thoughts on these public domain characters being used in horror as you know, where we are as it is, because there's more on the way soon. So with that, I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.